When Jesus said, "Get thee behind me, Satan," he was not reacting emotionally. He was identifying a warfare moment. Matthew 16:23 says, "Get thee behind me, Satan. Thou art an offense unto me, for thou savorest not the things that be of God, but those that be of men." This was not about Peter's personality. This was about a strategy against destiny. Satan's greatest objective was not to make Jesus sin, it was to stop the cross. Because if the cross never happens, redemption never happens. Moments earlier, Peter had received revelation from heaven. Thou art the Christ. But revelation does not mean you are immune to being used in warfare. Peter pulls Jesus aside and says, "This shall not be unto thee." He meant well, but warfare often rides on good intentions. The enemy does not always shout. Sometimes he suggests. Jesus heard the suggestion and discerned the source. Because spiritual warfare is not just about casting out devils. It is about recognizing when a voice is trying to move you off assignment. This was not the first time Jesus heard this argument. In Matthew 4:10, during the wilderness temptation, Satan says in essence, "Take glory without suffering." Jesus responds, "Get thee hence, Satan." Now, in Matthew 16, the same core temptation reappears. Avoid suffering, avoid pain, avoid the cross. Different setting, different speaker, same objective. Warfare is consistent in its strategy. If the enemy cannot destroy you, he will attempt to detour you. Jesus knew the cross was not a tragedy, it was a strategy. Revelation 13:8 calls him the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. The cross was not accidental, it was predetermined. So when Peter tried to block it, Jesus recognized this was not a harmless emotional reaction. This was an assault on divine timing. And when warfare targets your obedience, you must respond quickly. You cannot debate what heaven has already decided. Get behind me is a term of warfare. In Jewish culture, disciples walk behind the rabbi. Peter had stepped ahead of his place. He was attempting to lead the Messiah rather than follow him. Misalignment creates vulnerability in warfare. Jesus restores order immediately. Get back in position. Get back under instruction. Get back into alignment. Then he says, "Thou art an offense unto me." The word offense means stumbling block. In warfare, a stumbling block is anything placed in your path to slow your forward movement. Peter was unknowingly becoming an obstruction. Warfare does not always look like opposition from enemies. Sometimes it looks like resistance from friends. Jesus was teaching us this. If it contradicts the Father's will, it must be corrected immediately. So, why did he call Peter Satan? Because at that moment, Peter was functioning as an adversary. And Satan literally means adversary, not identity, alignment. Peter's words were aligned with the enemy's agenda, and Jesus confronted alignment, not affection. 2 Corinthians 10:5 says, "Casting down imaginations, and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God." Notice the phrase, exalteth itself. Anything that rises against God's revealed will is warfare. The cross was non-negotiable. And here is the warfare principle for your life. When God has revealed your assignment, any voice that attempts to shrink it, soften it, or redirect it must be put behind you. Not attacked emotionally, not hated, but positioned properly. Because warfare is not just about binding demons, it is about guarding destiny. Jesus loved Peter. He restored Peter. He empowered Peter in Acts 2. But in that moment, he drew a line. And sometimes spiritual authority requires you to say, even to well-meaning voices, "Get behind me." Because purpose is sacred, obedience is costly, and destiny cannot be negotiated. Visit my teaching vault to more resources to foster your spiritual growth at drdelisarodgers.com.